Greetings. This is Top Tier Tips. Greetings everyone. Forcing at your Top Tier Tips here, and I'm here with another guide. This time we're going to be looking at another guest character, DF's Pai Chan. Alright, what is there to say about Pai? Well, she's a martial arts movie star in her home country of Hong Kong, and she has one crazy ass father. A father that apparently Pai ended up blaming on her death because her mother ended up dying apparently of overwork because Lao was too freaking, was basically too crazy with regards to his own training. He was just too obsessed with it that it basically led to her mother having to take care of the family and all that. So Pai got really pissed off and says that she's vowed to want to beat up her daddy and all that. So yeah, Pai's got daddy issues. Anyways, from a gameplay standpoint, I will let you know that Pai she's fairly different, or the kind of way how you kind of go about playing her is somewhat different to the other characters. She's not as different as she's not as like incredibly different like someone like F.O.N, but with Pai, there's just some elements to her that you'll have to account for differently. But the vast majority of this kind of reasoning for having to have a kind of different playstyle with Pai compared to other characters is because basically in general, all of her attacks, like everything just does like pretty well little. It does less damage, so she does less damage than basically like than the average character in the game. So like any sort of attacks, throws, holds, like anything, just they basically just do little damage. So as a result, well, number one, Pai she does have to play the stun game a bit more than other characters, and she has to play it usually in a manner where she unfortunately has to make more guesses throughout a match in order to defeat her opponent. So she can't just hit like, let's say, one or two combos or something and like call it a day, where she has to either continuously kind of reset an opponent until they die, or basically just try and do her best to try and control the neutral game in that sense. Although when I say with that, I mean trying to maintain advantage and try and keep the frames in your favor. That doesn't necessarily mean with Pai that you should be like playing like a range like neutral game or anything like that. Quite the contrary. Pai seems to excel pretty nicely from relatively close range. Because I will let you know right now that she is one of the fastest characters in the game. And if you actually take the kind of recovery frames on a lot of her moves, I should say lack thereof of recovery frames on a lot of moves, she actually could be considered arguably the fastest character in the game if you end up taking that into account. But anyways, I'll just say if I end up saying anything in this guide that you may not know or you may not be as familiar with, then feel free to check out some of my other guides and see if you can find some answers to your queries. Alright, with learning Pai, I'll let you know that she's pretty friggin' complex. I mean, like, I'll even just say going about even playing her, learning her, anything, it just feels unintuitive. I mean, she's not like a completely weird character, but it's just like when you go about like playing her, it can be a little tricky to figure out how to do things. So I really do heavily recommend checking out her command training and her combo challenge. So let's take a look at those right now. Alright, here we are in Pai's command training. As you can see up top, she has approximately 107 moves. That is around average or slightly above it. So I will let you know that she does have a fair bit of strings, most notably off of her, most commonly off of her jab, which is really good. I'll just let you know right now. Basically, when going through her command training, just the usual, just getting used to. Basically, just getting used to her move set and stuff like that. So, executing the moves isn't really. Executing the moves with her actually isn't that much of a. Isn't really, I find, too much of a struggle or anything like that. But it's just with some of her combos all the time, it does have to be a little tight. So going through the command training isn't really too much of a challenge. I'll let you know right now, this move you see up here, which I'm not sure how to pronounce it, I'll just call it Chukin. What this is her jab, but if you either hold forward, or the way how I like it, quarter circle P, What this does is it gives you the same 9-frame jab, but then you cover more distance. You cover more distance, and it still comes out in 9. It still comes out in 9 frames. So you should basically almost always do this version. It gets this access to the same. It gets access to the same moves off of her P string. All right, I'll just let you know what her stances are right now. Alright, so she's got her HKS stance right there. She has a parry stance, if I'm not mistaken, like you saw it off of her jab string, which is usually indicated by either an up forward P plus K that takes you to her left, or a down forward P plus K, which takes her to her, which would take her to her right. What this is her parry stance, and it has access to its own moveset of moves. Like if you end up looking at the little moveset bar like down here, when I go into the stance, you see that I have a series of 3 moves, which include being able to continue the stance. You even get like an offensive hold. So yeah, and the other, so right there, that's her parry stance, and the other stance is also off this move here, her 4 P plus K, which leads into her back turn. So she gets back turn moves, but you can even input moves while 4 P plus K is active. Then it has its own series of moves. I'll just say right now, the best move out of this would be like 4 P plus KP, because this right here can it can end up leading to some like really nice setups there. And you can end up like doing like a launcher. I will let you know right now that move you're seeing right there, P plus K, is easily also, along with this, like these are all like really good moves. So you have to keep these in mind for later, but just keep it in general that these type of moves right here are ones you're gonna be using like a lot with Pai. So you'll learn to love that move. And like this move also, another one too, is that one there, which also is a critical burst attack from her HKS stance. Like, I mean, it has a string too. I mean, that I haven't even gone over all the details of that move, but that move is just really good. I'll just let you know right now that it's I mean, when all is said is done, that's a critical burst attack that's +1. It's +1 on block, and even has a follow up. And I will let you know that Pai does also have a bunch of strings that can jail. So I mean, like, wow, this character can be pretty lucrative. And she has a jump and punch here too. That's also only like -3 on block and stun. So I mean, yeah, she has a lot of good stuff. I mean, 11 frame 6 speed. This character is really good. But one reason actually why I actually highly recommend taking a look at her combo challenge is because her combo flow can be really tight at times, and you do want to know like there are some like key moves like 4-6 H plus K there, and 6-4P, which are commonly used as like combo filler, and the timing on them tends to be pretty tight. So yeah, so I do recommend looking at her combo challenge. I mean, let's take a look right now. Alright, here we are at the combo challenge screen. Alright, so as you can see right here, there's different combos that vary, or different techniques, combos, whatever, that vary from difficulty 1 all the way up to difficulty, even though it says difficulty 6. Even though I will let you know right now that her tag combo is my opinion, is not her toughest combo. For a tag combo, it's actually pretty average in terms of difficulty to perform. I will let you know that she definitely has some combos that will drive you nuts, including her one on a featherweight character on Alpha. So yeah, but with these combos, I actually find are good practice for just trying to get the flow and timing down for how juggles work with Pai. All right, anyways, I'll just start from the top and just show you like just go through a few like right now. All right, this right here is probably one of Pai's longer strings at 5 hits. I personally think it's a bit of a gimmick. I mean, she can somewhat get away with it because she does have quite a bit of she does have quite a bit of moves out of her P string, so you can kind of catch people off guard, but it's basically like it's just high attacks and ending off with a low attack, so it can seem a little gimmicky. Like right here is actually Pai's strongest throw in terms of just damage at 58 damage. Although that's kind of unique for Pai because her majority of her throws are actually more so based around, or her throw game in general is based around trying to just kind of maintain pressure on the opponent as opposed to just doing sheer damage. But if you want to do outright damage, and you can use your 12 frame throw like this. Right there is like just demonstrating their Sabaki. Alright, and another thing that's somewhat unique to her, even though I know other characters have it, like she does have while rising moves. There's just showing like another, this right here is just showing another string. Although you kind of like get the main idea there. Like that right there is a common, this right here could be a common juggle ender along with 3-3 PK. Well, right here you just, oh wow. Like you could see even something here as simple as K, P, P, and 3-3 PK. I mean, just has like, the timing of her combos, especially with moves including like her jab, like the timing can be like really tight. This right here utilizes another. This combo right here ended up using another good move with her. Is her. This is her 9K. It does have a follow-up in 9KK, but honestly, I don't even bother doing it because this move here is like really good. I think it's like it's a tech jumping move that comes out in 14 frames. It's a mid kick. It's only like -5 on block. So, and as you can see right here, you can just spam it. You can just spam it during the stun game if you want. Oh man, I'm not concentrating. Oh well. Anyways, like this. I mean, this one here isn't even one of the crazier ones, but yeah, you see that the timing on some of her combos can be pretty crazy. Here, I'll show you. There's one here is actually, I'd say, is a good practice for just getting down how her usual flow is. I mean, if you want, you can go just straight to her featherweight combo. But honestly, Alpha's the only featherweight, and she's not really that common a character, so I don't really recommend focusing on this combo until you kind of got down how she is in general. But let's see, what's a good one to practice? Yeah, I think it's this one here will drive you pretty nuts. I'll give you a hint that after the second string, the 3PK4, you have to take a very small micro dash. Then delay. Then when you input the 466P plus K, have a small I don't know, delay. So input 466, wait a very slight moment, then input P plus K just so you get a little micro dash out of it. Then hit the P plus K, which is a shoulder move for her. But I'd say this combo here would be a really good one just for practicing how her flow works out. Like I'll just show you it right now. Alright, as you can see right here, that the parts of the combo that are usually going to be the ones that are going to be trickiest, I find, are the parts that involve as you can see right there, after the full crouch P plus K, you got to be really quick with the jab, 4-6 H plus K, 6-4 P, then the PP KK. Just all those, as soon as the Pai gets the opponent in the air, you have to be like really quick with how you end up executing it. Just for kicks, I'll end up showing the alpha combo just for fun. Holy crap, this combo is a pain in the ass. I'll just let you know right here that the part of the combo that's probably give you pain in the ass. It's just like with a lot of the other combos, is after the launch with their full crouch 3 P plus K. I will let you know, a tip for this combo challenge, and just, I guess, using that move in general, is that instead of, you don't necessarily have to always input it as 3 P plus K. You can just input 3 P plus K, and you end up pulling off the move faster, as opposed to having to go into a crouch position and raise it. You can just go 3 P, and then after that you have to go pretty fast through the 3 H plus K, the P, the 4 6 H plus K, the another full crouch 3 P plus K, then the PP, then 3 PK. Like for the last 3 for the second 3 P plus K, you basically have to input it as 3 P plus K in order for it to be able to, in order to get enough launcher, the 2 jabs and the 3 P to work. I will let you know right now that her jab has really short recovery, so you can input it repeatedly pretty fast. To make the move even crazier, I'll let you know right now, it's 0 neutral on block and +1 on normal hit, so her jab is very abusable. And of course, I let you know right now, you can do quarter circle P also to get a ranged jab. Alright, this is another combo that will be a major pain in the ass to you, namely the last move, the 4 6 6 P plus K. The trick for this one is you have to input the 4 6 6 P plus K shoulder. You have to kind of delay the last part, and delay the input of P plus K. So you do 4 6 6, wait a very brief moment, then P plus K. Here, let me show you. Alright, we're going to be taking a look at Pai's neutral game right now. Alright, I'll let you know with Pai, her neutral game is mostly based around taking advantage of her speed in general. So she has a lot of quick pokes, and I will also let you know that she is, in my opinion, is one of the safest characters in the game. If you're just throwing out random crap, and you're eventually going to end up throwing something out that's like really, you're going to end up eventually throwing something that's out like really unsafe and whatnot. But in general, majority of her moves actually have pretty light negatives, like usually like minus, a lot of stuff was like -6 or less. Alright, I'll just go over right now quickly her kind of general strike speed. Her jab here is 9 frames +1 on normal hit, and if it gets blocked, then it's 0. One thing I will let you know right here, if the jab whiffs, if it connects on normal hit, it only has 10 recovery frames. So right here you can end up, and being +1 on normal hit, the move becomes a complete frame trap. Even if the opponent blocks that move and you're at 0, basically the only characters that can no character can actually genuinely retaliate without having to use some sort of special like parry or sidestep type move or whatever. But with a 9 frame jab and 0 on block, you basically can outspeed anything. If your opponent's character has a 9 frame jab, the worst they can do to you is trade. It's just trade, and then you both end up getting counter hit, yada yada. But to complement this, she has a really nice 11 frame 6P. As you can see right here, it's only -4 on block, so it is completely safe. Its range is pretty decent. Also, it reaches about 1.78 meters. But the reason why this move is safe is because it doesn't have any follow-ups. It's just 6P. She actually has another 11 frame move, her 3P plus K right here. As you can see, it's -6 on block, but it doesn't reach as far, like what is that, about 1.36 meters, as opposed to for 6P. The main reason why you use this move is for wall slam. It's basically, I'm pretty sure it's essentially the fastest wall slam mid in the game. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I can't see there being like a faster wall slamming move than 3P plus K. But that's pretty much just what I would recommend it for, is if you want a quick knockback. You can see, similar to 6P, they're both +3 on hit, so under most circumstances use this, but you need to smack some to the wall, use 3P plus K. I will also know that she also has a really good 2P. Yeah, its range is kind of crap at only like 1.7 meters. But if you couple this with the rest of her speed though, I mean this can just kind of, having her 9 frame jab, 11 frame mid, and 12 frame 2P, you can stuff a lot of things. If you see right there, her 2P only has, her 2P has 18 recovery frames, which is faster since most 2Ps usually have like what, about like 20 recovery frames, but Pai's is only 18. Though right there it only says only has 1 active frame, which is weird because most 2Ps usually have 2 active frames. Its active frames is the actual frames where the move can connect an opponent. So that means that it takes 12 frames to activate. And then you'll see when you connect the opponent, it just says 14 recovery frames. So as I ended up saying earlier, 12 frames to activate, 1 frame where it can actually connect with an opponent, and the 18 frames is recovery, which is basically like nothing. So you see most of these moves here don't really have that much recovery, so you can kind of annoy the crap out of opponents just by doing this. Unfortunately, I mean, to avoid getting high crush, you're eventually going to have to use something like, you're eventually going to have to use her 6P to check the opponent. But unfortunately, it is -4, meaning that if an opponent usually does an immediate retaliation with like a jab or 6P, then you are going to have to take defensive action. The recommended one, of course, is always a fuzzy guard. But if you're like substantially faster than a character, like if you're fighting against, let's say, well, obviously someone like Bass or another like slow super heavyweight or slow grappler, then -4 with Pai doesn't really mean anything. Like that's also the thing that can actually make Pai pretty, that can make Pai, or makes her speed so dangerous, is when you couple that with her safety. I mean, she's a friggin' speed demon. I mean, that's also probably the reason why Pai can annoy the crap out of people online, because it basically looks like she never has to stop pushing buttons. I mean, yeah, offline you have to respect frames a bit more, but in general with Pai compared to some of the other like speedier characters, let's say like a Kasumi or a Christie or like whatever, those characters are considerably much more unsafe than Pai. So Pai's safety can make her like a massive pain in the ass for most characters. And I'll also say that she's a massive pain in the ass for Bass, because it's almost like Bass just doesn't really get a chance to really attack her very often. But yeah, I'm not going to get into the matchup stuff right now, so I'll just let you know that her jab, or the way I like it, the quarter circle P, and her 2P, all that range is a little better. Like Ayani's just goes across the room in comparison, but I'll just let you know those pokes are like really good. For other pokes, really, I mean, in close, it's basically all you need is his jab, 6P, and 2P, even though its range is so crappy. But for mid-range, a poke I recommend is her 3KP. I'll let you know that moves like this string here jails on block. It does have a third hit, which can smack opponents into stuff, but as you see right there, it's -13 on block, so you only really need 3KP, which as you see right there, it's only -3 on block. The second hit's a high, but because these two hits, the mid K into the high P jail, then it doesn't really matter that the second hit's a high. So you can use that as like a poke on the opponent if you think they're gonna like retaliate immediately after a -3, even though a -3 isn't really that much disadvantage. Then you can start to. You can delay it slightly, then you can try and nail them with the third hit. Alright, so from around kind of the mid-range area, if you want, with a Pai, I really don't recommend playing any sort of keep-out game or anything like that. Like honestly, don't even bother with Pai. The only reason why you'd be playing keep-out with Pai is if you're trying to protect a life lead. And really, actually don't even like bother like trying to like play keep-out unless you just want to annoy the opponent with like 3 people scare or whatever. But generally with Pai, yes, if you're fighting around mid-range, what you want to do is get in. Apart from the aforementioned P strings, normally off of her quarter circle P, which I'm going to keep repeating. Apart from her P strings, so that's like a high option. A move you can also use is her forward, 6-6 P plus K, which leads to her jumping low, which I will let you know is safe on block. Like, I mean, this bad boy is like only, let me see, I think it's only like minus, it's only like -5 and something. Look at that, like only -5 on block so right here, and on normal hit it gives you a 27, it gives you a plus 27 stun, so the jumps and crouches it definitely throws some people off because you don't really expect a low attack from here, but yeah, if the opponent knows Pai, then they might look out for it, so you do have to be a little careful with it, but it is an option. Other moves you can try is like, you could try like 6/6 H plus K right there. It's only -5 on block, but similar to the 6/6 P plus K, the move can seem like a little telegraphed at times, but I mean, if it is blocked, it's safe. Then you can even just, it goes into her back turn stance, and she has a 12 frame jab wall back turn that is advantage on block, which is actually pretty cool. I mean, yeah, I'll go over like a little later. Her back turn stance actually is pretty nifty in terms of kind of like frame advantage based moves, or just generally some good moves in general. Yeah, but apart from let's see, apart from like from 6/6 P plus K or like 6/6 H plus K, I mean, yeah, if you can, yeah, even depending on where you throw it out, the disadvantage can actually change. It could be like -5, -4, based on the kind of frame manipulation on block, based on distance or stance that the opponents are in. But if you're playing like a really kind of lockdown neutral game, and basically like the opponents just trying to keep you out, or not getting there or anything, and they're just standing there mostly blocking, then you could, if you want to be really audacious and make him feel like crap, just nail him with this bad boy. Yes, Pai has her own dragon kick. Her running, just simply running kick. I will also let you know right now, if the opponent does quote unquote block the move, then you'll only do 80. You only will do 80% damage as opposed to 100. Let me see if that. Yeah, right here. If you end up hitting an opponent's block, you only do 80% damage, as you see right there. But still, I mean, this is not really a character you expect to have an unblockable attack when she has. I'll just say right now, she has like frame advantage out the ass for a lot of her kind of moves. I mean, actually, you know what? I'll go over some of her kind of frame advantage moves like right now. Why not? I mean, I'll even say right now that the thing that actually also could throw some people off as I go on to this, her frame advantage moves aren't even really obvious guard breaks or anything. I mean, I'll say like something like this, for instance, as you see right there, is +1. Something like this back turn P is like +1. Like stuff like this. Let's see, like back turn 4P. I mean, like stuff like that is all stuff like that is all frame advantage. So I mean like if your opponent doesn't know Pai, then please feel free to abuse the crap out of frame traps against them, because really, I mean I mean, Pai could be really abusive frame wise, especially against opponents that don't know her frames properly, because as you could, I'll just let you know right now that her frame advantage moves, like I said, they're not obvious guard breaks. They're just moves that you just have to know that they're frame advantage on block or not. Alright, now just continuing on with frame advantage moves, I'll just say right now that hands down her best frame advantage move is P plus K. It's only +1, but the thing that makes this move good is, as you can see right there, it's 19 frames, so that's pretty fast for a move that is so abusive. What actually makes this move so good is not necessarily the fact that it's +1 on. Okay. Not necessarily the fact that it's +1 on block, but it's just the fact that it's an advantage on block move that has such good hit properties to begin with. Well, if it hits on normal hit, you get +5. The main thing is that if you hit on counter hit, then it can grant a sit down stun that can, depending on the advantage in there, like right there it gives you +27, that can guarantee her 6/6 critical burst. Right there, and even her critical burst itself, like it's +5 on normal hit, -6 on block, so critical burst is a pretty nifty move in itself, but with regards to her P plus K, this move is like it's like really, it's really good during the stun game. I mean, this move, so I mean, if the opponent manages to stagger escape a stun and block, then you're at +1 anyway. So this, during the stun game, literally the only thing the opponent can really do against it to stop you from either getting that big sit down stun or blocking is they have to form out like a mid punch hold. So yeah, so P plus K right there can be a pretty crazy move, and depending on stance you can get +2 as you saw right there. Another good, interesting move also is her. Oh, her from her Sabaki stance, the P option. As you see right there, it's +1 on. It's +1 on block. The thing that makes this option interesting is because the other options that the opponent would be looking for from this stance. So there's a low kick and offensive hold. Both these options can be avoided by low blocking. So that means if you have a, so this right here will essentially be your mid option. I mean, your advantage on block in it, I think it should grant it grants a flop bound on even normal hits, which allows you to get a follow up combo after that. But this could be continuing on with other frame advantage moves right now. There's basically two variations of this move right now. Her 4P. All right, it's a 25 frame move, but if you can space the range well, as you see right there, it's +1 on block, and gives you a faint stun on normal hit. At 25 frames, it is a little slow, so you can't exactly use it in someone's face. But if you can space it from like around like mid-range, then you might be able to catch something. Like for instance, if they end up whiffing something with a lot of recovery in front of them, then you could hit them with this move. But she also has a version of this move from her back turn 4P. It looks pretty much identical, but the back turn version is +3. So +3 with Pai pretty much means that she can almost do whatever the hell what she wants. I mean, +3 with Pai basically means that the opponent doesn't get buttons. I mean, they have to make a correct read in order to escape your frame trap, your frame trap pressure. But for other frame advantage moves, I mean, you've noticed right here that I think she only has like, as I know of, she only has I think like one frame advantage move that's actually a guard break. Like I can just show you it right now. Her 3PK, well, or 3P hold, you have to hold down the K. Like this move right here, as you see, gives +30, so you can get you can end up getting like a guaranteed fall. So like if you end up doing it at a wall, you can get a guaranteed 3P plus K for. You can get a guaranteed 3P plus K for instance. So, but of course, it's an incredibly telegraphed. It's an incredibly telegraphed mid, so yeah, you can't abuse it too much. Even tracks also, if the opponent tries to sidestep the it will end up launching them, and you can end up getting a small juggle after that. But yeah, with the interesting about this move is that there's different variations of it. If you don't charge the K and just tap it, then she ends up doing a track and high kick instead. So if the opponent's expecting that, then you can nail them with the high. There are also ways to cancel it, like you can hold down or you can hold back right there. So if you do end up so you end up can cancel it, and right there you see right there she can go into her back turn where you have moves like her back turn jab. Well, right there is her P plus K, which keeps her in back turn, or her back turn jab again, which is, as you see, is an advantage on hit, or on block, and it leads to her normal jab string. And yeah, with that last move that you can see right there, if you do it in front of a wall, then you are in range of punishment being -21 on block, but in open space, that's where it ends up being unsafer. Well, here's actually a frame advantage move that could probably throw some people off. Is this move, which is commonly used as combo filler. I mean, it's a 22 frame move, so yeah, it is slower than something like P+K, but a lot of people don't expect this to be frame advantage on block, and it ends up being a +1, so of course, +1 for Pai means buttons. Well, +1 for almost any character usually means buttons, but for Pai it's gonna be lots of buttons. Yeah, but the only reason I admit why you would use this over, let's say, P+K is just to, honestly, just to try and throw people off, because if they don't expect it to be frame advantage, what are they going to do? They're going to think it's their turn. They're going to push buttons, and you can counter hit them with either, well, you can get try and get a counter hit stun with her 6P, like I'll just show you right now the stun that this causes on counter hit. It's right there, typical +25 nosebleed stun. So yeah, so I mean, anytime you have frame advantage, this is usually a good go-to move to counter hit and keep the opponent, and keep them honest. Oh, and I'll give you a little tip here. If you end up hitting Pai's 66H+K on counter hit, you can get guaranteed follow-ups off the move here, like I just showed right there. Moves that you can get off it is such as you can get her back to P+K. You can get her, that right there is her back turn to P+K T, which is her combo throw, so you can get the timing down on the throw. But the one I generally recommend under most circumstances, unless you're like fighting a super heavyweight who you can't launch much, is just go for her back turn on 4K and just get a small juggle off it. Alright, just to be looking at Pai's 4-stick attacks right now. As you could probably guess, Pai's best 4-stick attack is essentially the move where there's almost like no downside whatsoever for just chucking this move out. Apart from 2P, of course. And that is P+K. Literally the only downside is the move's range. It's like, is there anything this move can't do? So yes, this is my recommended 4-stick attack. Even if the opponent performs a tech roll and to end up avoiding the 4-stick attack, this move has like really fast recovery. Like, look at that, it only has 21 recovery frames along with 3 active frames, which is honestly, for a move like this, friggin' good. I mean, 21 recovery frames is nothing. So that's definitely my recommended 4-stick. Just as a formality, I'll just show you some other ones that you can use. If you want to go in the back turn, you can use her 66H+K like I did there, and frame trap with her, like you can end up using like a back turn P+. You can end up using like back turn P+K or back turn jab, which is more recommended, or after that, or just like 4P, stuff like that. So other force techs you can use is her. You can also end up using her 1H+K too. Like, I mean, it has more range than like P+K, so yeah. So those are the options, but with Pai, when in doubt, P+K. All right, we're taking a look at Pai's throw game right here. Pai does have quite a bit of throws, but I will let you know that majority of them aren't really necessarily the strongest throws. I'll just show you some general ones. Like, this is her 5-frame throw, it's 40 damage. She has a couple 7-frame throws, only do about 45 damage. And of course, I showed you her 12-frame throw earlier in the combo challenge. There it does 58 damage. But the throws to take up note, which do complement her kind of frame trap pressure based gameplay well, is her let me see, is right here is her 4-6T. This right here is her 10-frame throw, gives her +13. So this So you can guarantee her, you can end up guaranteeing her 6P or her, or if you just want to like get a little like extra damage or something, you can end up just doing her 3P plus K, you get 40 damage. But in general, I just basically recommend doing 6P and just taking the advantage, and you can like continue the stun game and go for a launch with like her neutral K for instance or something like that. The other throw that I also want you to take note of is her throw from crouch, her basically just her full crouch 4T, which I'll just say right now that one of the best ways to enter crouch with her is just simply doing a 2P. Then you can just do 4T and you get it right here. This throw gives you a lot of frame advantage. As you see right there, you get plus 35, so you can easily get a guaranteed 66H plus K. And as I ended up like showing you earlier, what I usually recommend after doing this, just going for a launch. This is the time in there. Is this usually go for a launch and you can get in like a decent, okay-ish juggle. But if you're thinking that the opponent's going to go for a hold or anything, then usually just recommend their half circle back throw, just mainly because the 58 damage, or more specifically 87 damage on high counter that still could be pretty significant, but in general, like a Pai's throw damage would be a little on the weak side, but this throw right here, 460, can be pretty good for maintaining pressure on the opponent. Alright, just to be taking a look at Pai's hold game right now. Alright, first let's just take a look at her Sabaki, which is able to Sabaki or hold all high punches, like so. And if you hold down the direction that you're in, then you can just keep walking. You can also change sides by just pushing the direction in the other way, like so. Come on. Just like that. She also has out of that stance, she has an offensive hold out of it. Just right here, just do it normally. And off of that, it should grant you about plus 10. Unfortunately, off that you can't really get anything guaranteed. But after you do it, I usually end up recommending just going for a 6P if you think the opponent might try and retaliate immediately. You can try and do a P plus K for frame advantage, although you have to be careful with the gap. Or if you know the opponent's to be there blocking, then just go for a 4P. Alright, as for Pai's holds, none of them really do that much damage at all. And I think her low punch hold does like 30 damage, but the main thing about her holds is that all of them grant frame advantage. Like her low punch hold, out of all of them, is the only one that doesn't allow any sort of guaranteed follow-ups. So unfortunately, all you do is get plus 4 plus back turn. So with this, all I really recommend doing is it's just basically trying to pressure the opponent with like jab springs or like 6B or like something like that. But other holds like your low kick hold can usually get you guaranteed follow-ups. See right there, so I just recommend doing her 66H plus K, then doing 2P plus KT. So that right there will get you a solid, as you see right here, a solid 65 damage. Her mid kick hold I think can allow for the similar follow-ups. Unfortunately, the timing to get the 66H plus K is a little tighter than off like the low kick hold, for instance. I hit the wall. Anyway, you get the kind of the main idea. But some of them ones, such as her high punch hold, unfortunately doesn't give you the sit down stun, so you have to do like different follow-ups, for example. See right there, you see it doesn't, it's your back turn and the opponent ends up going backwards, so you have to do I usually just do after the 66H plus K, just do her back turn PP, KK, and you end up getting 54 damage, which is okay. So all of her holds have a variation of either one of those two combos. Just the low punch hold doesn't allow for doesn't end up allowing for a combo follow-up. Alright, for Pai at a wall, the #1 move I recommend for wall slam an opponent with is her 3P plus K. And I know I made a mention of it earlier, but I'll just reiterate it. This right here is an 11 frame move that is safe on block at -6. But it's still though, it's an 11 frame mid that wall slams. That's pretty damn freaking good. So anytime you want to slam the opponent, you just use this. If you want any sort of like alternatives, a lot of the other kind of alternative moves, they're kind of slower. Like you could also use stuff like 7 H plus K, although this is generally used more as more of like a get off me kind of type of move or cartwheel, but you can wall slam with it. But you'll have to, but the combo you'll use is PP KK after it. But if you slam with 3P plus K, then you can use let's get it set up. Then you can use 3PP KK as your juggle. As you can guess, with a Pai in a corner, you can get really abusive with like P plus K, 4P plus K, and of course, if the opponent likes pushing buttons and you need to keep them in check, you always have your 2P, and of course your jab. Once they learn to stop pushing buttons and just harass the shit out of them with P plus K or like 4P or stuff like that, or even 4H plus K. As you can see, these are all moves that you don't really care whether they block or get hit. So yeah, if you have your opponent cornered with Pai, feel free to go nuts. Alright, I'm going to show you a sample critical burst juggle. Alright, there it's the combo is not too complex, but I just will let you know that you have to input the commands pretty quickly. So after the 3P plus K or 3-3 P plus K, it's just jab, 4-6 H plus K, jab, then jab, then PP KK. Alright, that's it for now. Thank you for joining me on this Pai Chan journey. Alright, I'll just let you know some stuff to practice with Pai is, first of all, apart from the usual familiarizing yourself with the strings. So what I recommend doing when you do practice training Pai is slapping on the moveset, so the left side right here, and getting used to basically where the strings can like branch off, for instance. Also any sort of transitions into stances like that, or into HKS stance. Getting used with the different options in here, such as this move here, which is how I mentioned earlier, it's a really good move. And also another thing also is like this here ends up going the back turn stance. And I'll say that this move also can be used for baits in neutral, and this move right here, 4P plus KP, is a really good move. As you can probably guess, also practicing with Pai is, well, practicing the hold combos. So just making sure that you can always get off the follow-ups off of her defensive holds. And other stuff to practice, of course, is just in general her just combo execution, because I find compared to most characters that the time within her combos can be a bit tighter than others. I mean, it's not as tight as someone like Akira, but it still can throw you off a bit because you have to input the moves really quickly. But the main reason also why you can end up inputting additional moves within her combos fairly quickly is because a lot of her moves tend to recover fairly quickly. So it takes a little bit of practice just to get used to trying to be able to capitalize, to try and like capitalize on that. But oh yeah, I just want to also let you know that this Pai costume is pretty freaking awesome, isn't it? So I want everyone to go to freestepdodge.com and give a big props to the poster Mare of Mustard. Like, she did such an awesome job just coming up with this design here. I mean, this looks awesome. And I'll just show you control. I got a Pai if you want. But anyways, if you have any questions about anything with regards to this guide, then feel free to contact Force of Nature on freestepdodge.com. You can also contact me on my YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. And also be sure to check out my other guides, including my character guides, just to get a more well-rounded look at this awesome game that is Dead or Alive 5 Last Round. Also, I've completed about 2/3 of the cast now, so just let me know if your favorite character has been looked at yet. If not, then let me know in the comments down below. All right, but yeah, good luck with your Pai training. Anyways, this is Force of Nature signing off. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time on Top Tier Tips.